Hey guys, so sorry I haven't made a vlog in so long. Been quite busy with Rage and Ash and also work and, you know, planning my future. But as some of you might know, I'm going on a cosplay semi-hiatus now, so hopefully that'll give me enough time to do more vlogs. Though I am doing some more cosplays that I have most of, if not all the supplies for, like CC from Kogios, me doing an armored version of Glaceon from Pokemon, really excited for that, and hopefully Bellona from Smite. I've just started playing the game, it's so much fun, and Bellona just has like the most beautiful design. Anyway, so today I'm going to be making a review on my Astrid cosplay for you guys. Just kind of going through how I made it and stuff like that. I hope you find it helpful and I hope you enjoy. Knee guard things. I made two of these with just circles of craft foam that I cut out, kind of measured to my knee. They're not completely even, but that doesn't really matter, I don't think. I didn't have a heat gun at the time, so I just tried to use a hairdryer. Don't do that, it doesn't really work. So it's kind of flatter than I would have liked it. Then to attach it, I did two little bits of elastic. Then I just painted it brown. It's better, I just used acrylic paint, but Fabricating is better. Like, I didn't have any on me, which is why I used acrylic paint, but if I do remake these, I will use Fabricating. Okay, so these are the headband. It goes like this. And the bits that tie around her arm. I just got brown string from Fabric World. You can probably get it from any fabric store or haberdashery by you. Originally for the headband I had a strip of pleather cut out. I liked how that looked a lot better, but I lost it the night before. And I didn't have time or the pleather to remake it, so I just got a piece of like rope and tied it on my head. And these, as you can see, it kind of untied itself from the shape, but again, it's just rope. And I got one of my friends to tie it around my arm in the shape. You can just do that. I mean, if you want to make it into a more permanent thing so it stays in that shape, you can probably use pleather or even rope and just kind of sew it into the shape, but I didn't do that. I got about 15 meters of the stuff. I originally got like 5 meters, but then I ran out twice and then went overboard and got another 15 meters, which I'm actually grateful for because I can use this for a whole bunch of other stuff. And when I lose something, which happens quite often, I can just redo it quickly. So yeah, always buy too much. This is one of my arm warmers. The base kind of bit is made out of fleece. I didn't hem it because I thought that, you know, this little bit of furry bit sticking out from underneath kind of gave it that more, you know, rugged, Viking-y vibe. How I made it was I literally just kind of traced the shape on my arm out onto a piece of newspaper, then widened it at the top, and then I just cut it out and sewed it up. This is made of the same fur that I made like my skirt and my hood out of. It's not actually attached, it's just like stuffed inside and then flipped over. The layering gives it that nice kind of puff that Astrid's actual arm warmers have, and as you can see, this is slipping down a little bit because it's rope that I just tied around the arm warmer again. I did try to sew it down, but the stitching kept coming undone. So it's really not that difficult to just re-tie it when you have to wear it. I ended up running out of, I didn't really run out, but I didn't have enough rope for my second arm warmer, so it's always, like I said, it's always better to buy more than you need, so you like know you're not gonna run out. This is actually cut from the first skirt I made that I kind of failed on, and I try to hide this, but if a little bit sticks out, it's not an issue. This is the shirt that I made for Astrid. It's just made out of simple red t-shirting material. Then I sewed it up with a zigzag stitch. I didn't bother hemming it because, you know, all little bits, like this bottom's hidden under the skirt, and the sleeves and the collar are hidden under the hood part, which isn't great. Like if I was competing in this, that wouldn't have been a good move, but I wasn't, so I figured it was fine. The pants, her like blue pants, I just used a pair of jeans that I had. You know, I wasn't competing, I didn't really feel like battling with tight-fitted pants, so I just used a pair of blue jeans that I got at a clothing store. So you can make the blue jeans if you want, but I didn't. And you should hem, even though I didn't. Do what I say, not as I do, kids. This is actually Astrid's boot. I just used a pair of Uggs that I had, and I used a dyeing method with a mixture of acrylic paint and water and an old toothbrush to just dye this bottom bit. I didn't bother dyeing up here because it was going to be covered with a leg warmer. I suppose I could have just used a pair of brown Uggs, but this is just what I had. And this is the leg warmer that goes over it. It's all made out of the same fur. I used the same dyeing method, except with this I used a mixture of brown and like gold acrylic paint. It was very difficult to get the color right because Astrid's fur is a funny color. I couldn't get the fur in the right color, so I had to dye it because, you know, accuracy. You literally just, and for this, so I could get that, you know, furry, sticky outy, rough kind of look, I ran the toothbrush both ways. I made a mistake with my first skirt where I just used brown acrylic paint and I just did the toothbrush one way and it just looked really matted and dark. So I brushed the toothbrush both up and down, and the last stroke was always an upward stroke so that it would stick out and still be kind of soft. Now for one of the parts of my costume that I had like the most fun making. The skirt is just literally one long piece of fabric or fur that I just sewed up like as to the length of my hips, and then I just measured how long I want it to be. It's just like a tube of fabric basically. Then I used the same dyeing method that I did on the leg warmers to dye it like a brownish gold. I used more brown than gold this time though, because to me in her design, her skirt looks more brown and her leg warmers look more gold, but it's completely up to you what colors you use. The straps are attached with Velcro so that I could like lift these up so I could actually sit down on the day. And it holds quite securely. Nothing ever fell off. The only issue I had was that the skulls were quite heavy because they're made out of F16, a type of plastic. What I could have done was I could have used like a safety pin or something to just safety pin the skulls to my top, but I didn't do that obviously. Astrid Cosplay actually gave me the idea when we were shooting on Wednesday, so if I ever wear this to an event again, which I probably will, I'll definitely do something like that. The actual skulls and studs, as I said, are made out of a type of plastic called F16. Astrid Cosplay suggested that to me. She helped me a lot with figuring out how to make these. I had originally hot glued these down, which didn't work at all. I had like freaking studs and skulls falling off me all day at Free Comic Book Day, and then I just restuck them with contact adhesive, which worked so well. Contact adhesive is like the light of my life. It just works beautifully. I use it on all of my ash stuff as well. As for how I made these, I made the shapes out of clay. You can use clay or eye clay or anything like that. Then I used silicone to create a mold. This is what the mold looks like. I just put all the little pieces of clay inside a Tupperware. I also coated the Tupperware with Vaseline just in case the silicone decided to, fuse with the plastic or anything. Then, as you can see, when it's finished, it takes about 16 hours to finish. It creates like an indent, the shape of your clay. You just have to remove the clay from the mold. I made this way too close to the edge, so it was quite a struggle to get these two out on my hood piece, but now I know for next time. Then I simply spray painted them all, and then for the skulls I just put some black paint in the eyes, the nose, and the little teethy bit, and then I stuck them all on. It was a really interesting experience for me. I'd never done anything like it before. I've never done casting before, but it's so much fun, and F16 is really nice to work with. Silicone takes a long time to finish settling, but F16 takes very quickly. The skulls took a little bit longer just because they're bigger, but the studs were very quick. I finished them all in like a day or two, I think. So yeah, silicone and F16 are quite expensive. It was about 500 rand in total, but it was well worth it. Then just Gale Force Cosplay gave me some like matte sealant to put over the spray paint because it was starting to rub off. So yeah, I really recommend using sealant whenever you paint stuff, otherwise it's going to chip or rub off or whatever. So yeah, another one of my favorite bits. I always feel so epic and so like Viking-y in this. It's quite easy to make. The skulls, as you can see, are the same as the others. The mold for them are here. I accidentally did it a little bit close to the edge, so it was a bit difficult to get the clay out and to get the actual casts out. So when you're doing it, please make sure to do it close enough to the center, otherwise you're going to have problems. Then this is the fur that I made the skirt and stuff out of, how it actually looks. I didn't put fur at the back because in her design, her front fur and her back fur are different like lengths. Her front fur is a lot longer than her back fur, and I couldn't find fur this color in like a longer length. So what I did is I just kind of made this like, so it looked kind of like a hide, and then this is like the fur. Then I used like a kind of square dark brown fur for the back. I used 4 little bits of pleather here. I just sewed it down here by hand and made them into loops. Then I just got a random bit of wire from an old metal Christmas tree, and I just looped it around and just stuck it through there. This bit kind of gave me a little bit of issues because my wig kept getting caught in it, and then my wig come undone. Like, I don't actually remember how many times I retied the wig on Free Comic Day. It was quite a few. Then the pauldrons, which were so much fun to make because it was my first ever proper armor that I made. It's just made out of craft foam that's layered into this shape. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. It's supposed to kind of come up, so there's not 5 bits here, but it's 1 bit, but I didn't make it totally properly, I was a noob at the time, so it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it. Then again, I only did 1 layer of priming because the craft foam was black. So if there were bits where I didn't paint properly, it would look like weathering. I actually like how this one looks. You can do more layers of priming if you want, and then just do normal weathering like a normal human being. Again, I didn't have a heat gun at the time, so I was just trying to use a hairdryer to make these little knobs rounded, which wasn't working. So eventually what I did was I just put hot glue on them, stuck them down, and then while the hot glue was still hot, I just kind of made like an indent. Which wasn't a good idea, let me tell you, because I burnt my fingers to hell. Like, I'm pretty sure I do not have nerve endings there anymore. Then I just took a craft knife or a pair of scissors, I can't remember exactly, and just made slashes. Then I spray painted it, and then I didn't have oil paint at the time, so I just used like acrylic paint. I did my paintbrush in acrylic paint, then like wiped it off mostly and just did a little bit around there. Oil paint would have worked a lot better though. I had originally intended to stick the pauldrons down with Velcro so they were detachable, but that didn't work out so well because the Velcro kept coming off, and then I ended up using too much hot glue and now the pauldrons are permanently stuck to the fur, and that's damaged the fur a little bit there, so just be careful when doing that. But otherwise I'm happy with how it's turned out. You know, I don't think I'd ever remake this because I like how it looks. Or maybe I'll remake the pauldrons one day now that I actually know how to do armor. Literally all these shapes is like one big curve, a slightly smaller curve, then just... These are all curves, but this just has more of a like crescent moon shape than these ones. And now onto the axe. The handle is literally pickaxe handle that I sanded down a bit. I just got a tube of fur and just stuck it on the end. Then I got a little, it's like a curtain rail bowl, and put it on the end, and then I covered it in clay. This originally had teeth bits, but it fell off in the middle of the day, and you know, I didn't feel like redoing that. Again, I just tied some rope around here. I also got some blue rope and red rope and more brown rope for these bits. I just tied it in the shape, and this was originally longer, but it kind of ended up getting pushed up over the course of the day. I would recommend, if you do this, is just to put some like wood glue or contact adhesive along here, and so when you tie it down, it sticks, so you don't get like this happening. Then the actual axe is made out of a thick pine wood. If I ever were to remake this, I would have made it out of expanding foam rather. Then I just sanded it down into like an actual blade type shape, which took forever. Again, why expanding foam is easier. Then this is again just another curtain railing. Then I put craft foam over the top of this to cover up the pickaxe handle because my dad helped me drill a hole inside the blade and then just wood glued it and like nailed it inside. So this covers the pickaxe handle, and also it's part of her design. Then more little craft foam bits. Then I spray painted it with this type of spray paint that doesn't require priming. So it's like kind of priming and spray paint in one. I do recommend it because it saves you so much time for priming wood. Then I oil painted practically everywhere because the spray paint was too light. Oil painted all over this and all over this. Kyle and Astrid Cosplay helped me a lot with that the night before the event. And yeah, that's how I made my Astrid cosplay. The wig was a pre-styled wig, so I can't help you with that unfortunately. I hope you find this helpful, and I'll see you again soon hopefully. Bye!